Hello dear students, today in accounting ratio, after looking into solvency ratio one type, today we'll be looking into total assets to debt ratio, proprietary ratio and interest coverage ratio. These are the remaining three ratios in solvency ratio. So we'll be studying it in detail, and in the next video, we'll be having a look into the practical questions of all these accounting ratios. But today we'll be going into what it is or how it is to be calculated, how it is to be expressed. That is what we are going to study in this video. The first one is total assets to debt ratio. Now it shows the relationship between, as the name itself suggests, total assets and the debt. Now as it is solvency ratio, it is long-term debt. So it shows relationship between total assets and long-term debts of the firm. How the long-term debts are to be covered up with the assets that the company or the firm has. That is what we are going to study, or will be getting an idea about in this ratio. Now it is expressed as the pure ratio. Now pure ratio means what? The answer will be in fractions. That is, the answer will be is to 1. That is why it is called pure ratio. It measures the safety margin to the lenders of long-term debts. Safety margin. What do you mean by safety margin? That is, the company or the firm has more of total assets, because of which the lenders are at a safe place when they lend us the debt, when they give us the debt for a longer period of time. This firm has got many amount of, or a large value of total assets with them, because of which the lenders are at ease, or are at a safety zone to lend the money to us. So that is why it is measures the safety margin. It represents how sufficient are the available assets in order to meet the long-term borrowings. The long-term borrowings that you do, how sufficient is your asset to meet those borrowings or to meet those debt can be studied here. Now let us have a look into the formula of total assets to debt ratio equals to total assets divided by long-term debts. Now the ideal ratio is 2:1, same as debt to equity ratio. A high total assets to debt ratio implies that more assets are financed by the owner's fund and the company can easily meet its long-term obligations. What does it indicate? Assets are financed by the owner's fund. What does it mean? It means that owner's fund means what? Shareholders fund, share capital, the equity, the preference share capital, the reserves and surplus, all are owner's fund. Okay. Now, how does this fund or this capital, how is it finances the asset? How does it finance? See, whatever money I receive from the investors in the form of share capital, or whatever amount I have saved in the form of reserves and provisions or surplus and all that money will be utilized to buy assets. So when those assets are purchased with this money, I can be rest assured, as a lender, a person can be rest assured that in the long term, the obligations will be met because the company has got enough of total asset. That is what is it meant by a higher total asset to debt ratio. Okay. Now if it is lower, then it means that the lower safety to lenders, as the business depends largely on outside loans for its existence. So for its existence, the lenders have to depend on outside loans, and they are more it's a very dangerous situation because they don't have much asset with them, and they don't have much asset with them. This indicates that they don't have much investors in their company. So lenders are at a risk at this if they have a look into this type of ratio which is shown or calculated and presented before them. Now this ratio is expressed in fraction, that again it comes in in is to only whenever you calculate it. Now let us see what all things are considered when you have total assets. Total assets contents are all fixed assets plus investment plus current assets. See, total assets it is said. So all non-current asset, all current assets, loans and advances are included in total assets, and less fictitious asset. We discussed earlier itself, fictitious asset means what? Preliminary expenses, loss or discount on issue, etc. One more item was there, that was underwriting commission. All these are deducted in the form of fictitious assets, and the remaining things are added. Whatever you write in the total asset set, that will be added, and these fictitious assets will be deducted. Or total assets. Now see, certain times the asset side things are given and you added it up and deducted fictitious asset. Now at times in the question you might be given the liability items. So remember one thing, balance sheet is always same, total asset equals to total liability. So even total liability also is given, then also you can apply the formula, total assets equals to total liabilities. And if liability items are given, then shareholders fund plus long-term liabilities, both of them include what come under the heading of non-current liabilities, and plus current liabilities. So this is how total assets can be calculated. So it can be through asset approach, it can be through liabilities approach also. Now let us see what all are included in debts. Now let us look into debts or long-term debts contents. Long-term debts is a revision of what we had done in previous videos also. Long-term debts had given a list. The same thing it is, debtors plus bank loan plus loan from financial institutions plus mortgage loan plus public deposits and other long-term borrowings, or total debts minus current liabilities. Total debts given to you, from that current liabilities will be deducted and you will get non-current liabilities which are similar to debts or long-term debts. So these are the contents of debts. The next ratio that we are going to look into, solvency ratio, is the proprietary ratio. Now it shows the relationship between proprietors' funds and total assets. Proprietors' funds means nothing, it is shareholders' fund. The share capital, the reserves and surplus which is there in the firm. So shareholders' fund, how much has been used to purchase the asset of the firm. That is what it's calculated over here in proprietary ratio. Now it determines the total assets that are financed by the proprietors funds or shareholders funds. So proprietors fund or the shareholders fund, how much amount has been spent in purchasing the total asset, that is what is studied over here. Higher the ratio, higher is the degree of safety to the creditors. That is, more proprietors fund is there, you have got more of share capital, the degree of safety is higher for the creditors. Creditors means whom? The ones who lend us money. And lower the reverse. It indicates lower safety to the creditors as they'll feel insecure regarding their payment at the time of liquidation. Liquidation means what? A time when the company is going to shut down or the company is not going to continue any further. So at that time they feel a little bit insecure. Will we get our money back or not? Whether we have invested in a correct company or not. So it indicates, the lower this ratio indicates that their money is at a danger situation. So the lower the ratio, lower the safety. Higher the ratio, higher the degree of safety. This is what proprietary ratio is all about. Let us have a look into the formula and expression of proprietary ratios. Now there is only one formula for proprietary ratio, shareholders fund or equity divided by total assets. Now this ratio is expressed in fractions, that is in is-to-1 it is expressed. But if they have told that to find proprietary ratio in percentage, the only difference is in this formula you will just put into 100. So when it is into 100, whatever answer you have to write, that will be in percentage. So this ratio can be calculated in two forms, that is pure ratio as a percentage. Now how it is asked in the question, you have to decide upon that. If it is nothing is mentioned, means it's a pure ratio, nothing, you have to just put in this formula and calculate it and get it into ratio form. If they have told to find it in percentage, you have to put it into 100, get the answer, and say for example if it is 49% will be written in front of it, or the sign of symbol of percentage will be written. Now this proprietor's funds can be computed by following either two methods. One is liabilities approach or assets approach. Now liabilities approach, asset approach, this is not something very big and new to you. Liabilities means what? Liabilities approach means what? All the items related to liabilities are given, that will be added and considered. That is liabilities approach. See over here I have written share capital plus reserves and surplus. Whatever is there in the liabilities side will be added up. That is liabilities approach. Now as I said earlier also, asset and liabilities total is similar. So if the details of assets are given, then you have to add the asset. That is non-current assets. What are their non-current assets? The fixed assets, tangible assets, intangible assets, investments, all those are non-current asset. Plus working capital. Working capital means what? Current asset minus current liabilities, if working capital is given, minus non-current liabilities. So if this is given, asset approach is given, you have to follow this thing. Now, any one of the methods are to be used, because at times proprietors' funds computed by the two methods may not be same. So what detail is given to you in the question, based on that you can utilize or use the approach whichever you want to. Okay. Now if you want to like in the question all the details are given, regarding liabilities are given, regarding assets are mentioned, you can take up the approach which you like. Okay, no need to mention it also by which approach. If you want, it is better, but it is okay if you don't mention it also. So any approach is appropriate, but take care of one thing. If both are there, no need to do both the calculations, only one is enough, and you find out the answer and show it. But if both the methods are there, then the proprietary ratio, the fund that you get, fund amount that you get, that will be a little bit different. So you have to take care of this thing. Now let us have a look into what all are there in equity or shareholders funds. Equity share capital, preference share capital, the reserve, general reserve, capital reserve, profit and loss credit balance, securities premium, other reserves, minus miscellaneous expenditure, and minus profit and loss account debit balance. We have already discussed all these things previously. Shareholders fund also means if total assets are given, total assets minus long-term loans plus current liabilities. And if total assets are given, what all things are to be considered to calculate total assets? All fixed assets plus investments plus current assets plus loans and advances minus fictitious asset if any. And if liabilities are given, then add all the liabilities. And if only total liabilities are mentioned, then total assets equals to total liabilities. Now the interest coverage ratio. It is the amount of profit which is utilized for paying interest and total amount of interest payable. See, a certain, it is not that the person borrows from, the businessman borrows from only one lender. He might have other people's also, many other lenders also. So he should be knowing how much interest also is payable for that money which is borrowed. So he has to calculate the total amount of interest which he has to pay to all these. With the principal amount, he has to pay that extra amount from his business only. So from his business, if he pays, from where will he pay? He'll pay it out of his profit. And it depicts the security of interest payments on long-term debts out of its profit. On the long-term debt, how much interest he has to pay, and that too out of his profit, depicts the security. Okay, fine. He knows that beforehand, and itself he knows that, okay, I am borrowing 10 lakh rupees, means I have to repay 10 lakh. total. Okay, how many lenders I have? Total 10 lakh rupees is what I have to repay. But with that 10 lakh also comes the interest also which I have to pay. Some gave me at 2% interest, some gave me at 5% interest, from some I borrowed at 9% interest. So it varies. So he has to find out the this ratio. A high ratio indicates surplus available for shareholders after meeting its interest obligations on long-term debts. So a high interest coverage ratio, what does it indicate? The surplus available for shareholders. The shareholders are the people who are going to receive the amount of dividend at the end. For their investment, for the money which they have invested into my company, they'll be getting it at the end. First, I have to repay all my creditors. So if the ratio is high, what does it indicate? That there is ample amount of money for the shareholders to get their dividend or their interest amount. Because after meeting out the obligation of these long term debts only, I can like repay, or I can give the or declare the dividends to the shareholders. Now the formula for interest coverage ratio is net profit before interest and tax divided by interest on long term debts. Now the net profit before interest and tax includes what? Net profit after interest and tax plus interest plus tax. So these things are included in NPBIT. It is this, in short, is known as NPBIT, but you have to write it in full during your exams. Now here is a summary of the solvency ratio. I have presented it in the form of a diagram, solvency ratio. We learned four different ratios over here. Debt equity ratio, which is debt by equity. Total assets to debt ratio, which is total assets by long-term debts. Proprietary ratio, which is shareholders' funds divided by total assets. And interest coverage ratio, that is net profit before interest and tax divided by interest on the long term loans. So this is like a summary of what we have done in solvency ratio.